Beautiful. So I don't know about for any of you, but whenever I started with this workshop and I was trying to define intuition, for me, whenever I first wrote my words down, it was a feeling. It was something that just deep inside of me, I knew. And whenever I tried to describe what intuition was, it felt like our soul's way, my spirit, her way to speak to me. And then I began to ask myself, well, what is my soul? And I feel like the soul is the essence of who we were created or designed to be, the higher us, right? A version of us that is in alignment with our true self. And I believe that the intuition is the way that they communicate to each other, right? The head and the heart and the spirit all together. And I believe that our intuition, for me, I kind of see it as a guiding light, helping us face our true north. And so, what I want you to do in the chat is go ahead and just in a word or two, you don't have to write down or type out everything you wrote. You also don't have to share it all. But how would you define intuition? Is there a word or a phrase? What would that look like to you? Mm, beautiful. So just read some of these out. An internal guide, a channel of truth to understand and be aligned with self. A feeling of being completely guided by something deep inside yourself, connected to your soul. Shauna said a gut feeling, that little voice, right? And I think all of those are so spot on. And we all can probably think of a time, right, where our intuition spoke to us and we heard it, right? And it probably guided us either towards or away from something that wasn't for us or something that was for us, right? But how many times, you can like raise your hand in the chat or text or say myself, how many times have you heard your intuition and not listened to it? Right? Many of you are like shaking your head like, me. And if you're anything like me towards the very beginning, or a while ago, I did that a lot. My intuition would try to speak to me and I just would ignore it. I would ignore it because it would go against conditioning or programming that I had, or maybe there was someone in a position of authority and they were saying something else, and I just forsake my own self, forsaked my own self and what my intuition was saying me with that gut feeling, that channel to truth, right? The alignment to self. I ignored it. And I'm sure most of you can relate, right? There's been a time in your life, maybe one even recently, where you ignored your intuition and you went with something outside of yourself. And I think it's so difficult because the intuition speaks, right? I want you to type in the chat. For you, is it a feeling? Like, how do you know your intuition speaking to you? Is it a feeling? Do you hear it? Do you think, how does it speak to you directly? Coming through journaling, evidence-based, a feeling, definitely a feeling. It's almost like a knowing, right? Like when you're like, I know that I need to be doing this. Yeah. A negative emotion. Interesting. A strong feeling or deep pull in my center. Yeah, deep pull in the center, which it makes so much sense. And thank you all for sharing, right? We have these feelings that are hard to really explain because, again, our intuition is our soul's way to speak to us, right? A channel to the truth, an internal guide, a compass taking us north. And yeah, I love that we all know the way, right? We know at least of a way that we can connect to our intuition. But for many of us, that voice, that still small voice, it doesn't get listened to, and then it begins to be bogged down. Imagine an internet bandwidth cable, right? It only has a certain amount of bandwidth, but if there's stuff clogged, or like an artery, right? If the artery is clogged, blood flow can't go through. And so our intuition, the channel of truth, connection to source, can get so bogged down with things like insecurities or fear or anger or worry or jealousy. I mean, there's so much static, you can't even hear the song, right? So, what I want us to do for the next few minutes is we're going to be doing a little bit of reflection work. So, we know that our intuition is always speaking to us, but are we able to listen? Are you tuned in so much so that you can hear that still small voice? If you don't think so, then there's probably something getting in the way. Well, what is that? So, what I want you to write on the very top of your page, on the top of the paper, is what is getting in my way of listening to my intuition? So, what is getting in my way of listening to my intuition? And just go ahead here for a few minutes, just journal whatever comes to mind. I want you to go ahead and look down at the words on the paper and see if there's anything else that you need to write down, or if you're ready to go ahead and put a sentence or a period at the end of the sentence. Again, if there's still a lot of things to write, we're not rushing. Please continue to write down and I can just kind of talk because we're going to continue to kind of dig a little deeper. So, what is getting in my way of listening to my intuition? I want you to just notice, what did you write? Was it something that you already knew? Or did it take a second? Is there one main theme? If you look on your paper, is there like that? For me, it's fear, right? Fear. I know what it is, fear. I want you to go ahead and look at your paper and find the negative emotion. Is there something that's reoccurring? I want you to try to boil the sentences down to one word that encompasses what is getting in the way of listening to your intuition, a word or a phrase. So take everything that you wrote, see if there's a word or a phrase, and then you can kind of boil it down to a sentence or a word. And then I'm going to go ahead and have you write the word or the phrase in the chat. So fear, boundaries, self-care, self-love, to listen, denial, fear, for past, fear of the unknown and unprocessed grief. Yeah. Mm, mm. Yeah, thank you all so much for sharing, right? It's so interesting whenever we get those words or phrases or feelings onto the paper, when you get to really boil it down and just see it for what it is. And the truth of the matter is that we can make a choice, right? We can make a choice to either allow this feeling, this situation or circumstance to get in the way. Yeah, being molded by others instead of my own self. How many of us can raise your hand if anything that someone wrote in the chat resonates with you in any way, or you see yourself in that? Okay. So we're all in the same boat, right? I mean, shoot, even all of these things, you might not have written the word, but you can relate, right? I mean, how many of us think that our past is getting in the way, or it's preventing or keeping us from listening to our intuition and listening to our intuition and being our best self? Or I mean, gosh, thank you, Maria, for what you shared. Unprocessed grief. We are probably all can relate to that in some way. Denial and fear. I mean, it's so common, right? Because the thing is, we've gotten this far based on some coping skills that have been only rooted in what we know, and no one teaches us how to do any of this. So the way that we're going to do this today, what I am going to teach you is, one, we're going to release it. So we're going to move through all of these negative emotions, and we're going to do a little virtual burn ceremony. So all this means is I have a little candle right here. I am going to write on a piece of paper all of the words that everyone wrote, and then we're going to burn it. This is just going to be a symbol of letting it go. There's something about calling in the elements, especially the element of fire. It's a very, very powerful element. And so what we're going to do is we're going to release it. I'm going to then guide everyone through just like a little meditation visualization to allow the element of water to wash it away. And then we're going to come back. We're going to integrate. We've got a couple questions that we'll go through to kind of help integrate it back in. And so first, it's going to take me a second. So I'm going to write down everything. So fear, boundaries, self-love. And honestly, if there's anything else that you guys want to burn, you can put it in the chat and I'm happy to light it on fire. Yeah, procrastination. Yeah, trust. Yeah. Other people's opinions, self-doubt. Yeah, it's amazing. Grief, denial. Yeah. Okay. Anything else that anyone would like me to burn? Feel free to just drop it in the chat. I'll get it written down and then we will say a little prayer. Let it go. Okay. So something brought you to this course. You had an intention. I want you to go back and I want you to look at your intention. And I want you to, as I burn, the burning is symbolic of honoring your intention, right? Honoring what brought you here, what drew you to this workshop, this little ritual, and giving yourself a chance to honor that intention, to honor yourself by symbolically burning, by me physically burning this blockage. The beautiful thing is we have a choice. Every single day we have a choice. We can pick up and do the things that we did yesterday and the day before that and the day before that, or now that we know different and we know how important our intuition is, right? What it actually is, a connection to source, the way our spirit speaks to us, the way our soul speaks to us, an internal guide and channel of truth. Now that you know that potential, then next time your past or the unknown or fear or grief or denial, if one of those things start creeping in, the visualization I'm going to guide you through, I want you to use that visualization to help you and encourage you to continue to keep that bandwidth, right? Keep that artery open to your own intuition. So I've got all of our words right here. This is actually like on one of my journal pieces of paper from like 2020. So it feels very symbolic, like let all that shit go. So can I just say a little prayer to open up the sacred space? So I call upon our ancestors and the star keepers, the benevolent beings, and all of those in the heavens above that are looking out for us, watching over us, and protecting us. I call upon you. I'm asking for an opportunity to burn away all of the things from all these beautiful women, these women of the earth, these star keepers, the beautiful embodiment of divine feminine energy created for a purpose. I'm asking that we burn away all of the things preventing us from listening to our intuition, for tapping into the divine, the creation, and the source. I just burn away all of these things, for they no longer hold power over us anymore. You are welcome on your end to say a little amen or namaste or aho. So mote it be. And then we're going to burn it. Try not to burn my apartment down. Or I have a dressing. And I just invite you to visualize it burning, right? And visualize all of that old stuff that doesn't serve you. Just slowly, slowly. Maybe it feels good to take a couple deep breaths. Give yourself permission to just let go. And so it is. Yes. Let's go ahead together, take a couple deep breaths. So let's breathe in through the nose and out the mouth. Again, in through the nose, big, 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 deep belly breath, and out the mouth. Last one here. Breathe in through the nose, big, 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 deep breath. Exhale out the mouth. Yeah, beautiful. I invite you to just visualize that blockage, whatever that was for you, just kind of burning away, falling away. If the eyes are not closed already and you feel safe, I'm going to invite you to just close their eyes. Let's take a nice deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Yeah, just continue to breathe deep here. And again, close the eyes if the eyes are not closed. How does it feel to let go, to see the visualization of letting that go? The fear of the unknown, the unprocessed grief, the fear, and imagine letting go of burning away of being molded by others, burning away self-doubt, the fear of your past, letting it all go. And what I want you to do with the eyes closed, right in front of you, I want you to just envision a beautiful river, moving body of water. Maybe it's an ocean or even a lake. Just notice the body of water in front of you. It's a beautiful sunny day. You can feel the sun on your skin. I want you to use your imagination here to just paint a beautiful place with beautiful water. You look down and you're barefoot and you just slowly just step into the water. It feels so good. It feels super, super, super fresh. You can feel the wind on your skin. It feels super good to just be here. Just feel the water around your toes and allow that beautiful element from the earth to just wash away the last little bits of procrastination, denial, the fear of listening, that last little bit. Just use this moment here to connect to the earth and yourself and just feel that element. Cool water and cool air on your skin. If you could give yourself the chance to listen to your intuition, what would she say? If you could really release the negative emotion that doesn't serve you, the blockages of emotions that are in the way of you hearing your intuition, this is your chance to let those things go. What are the deep parts of yourself that so deeply long to be heard, but we're so distracted, seeking approval from people who don't matter, holding on to things of the past, worrying about the future? Again, use the water at your feet to just wash away the last little bits and ask yourself, if you could give yourself the chance to listen to your intuition, what would she say? Continue to just breathe deep and listen to your intuition. If your mind begins to wander, just come back to your breath. You could give yourself the chance to listen to your intuition. What would she say? Keep your eyes closed and just breathe into this space. Continue to visualize the water at your feet. Feel the breeze on your skin, the sun on your shoulders. And just stay here for a while. If your mind wanders, just come back. Come back to your breath. Continue to breathe. Continue to create this sacred space for yourself here. You deserve it. You are worthy of it. If you could give yourself the chance to listen to your intuition, what would she say? wherever you are in your mind's eye, take one last look. Notice all the little details here. And super slowly and gently, just come back. Come back to your body and your mind. Hear the sound of my voice. We're not in any rush, so take your time here. Be super slow and gentle. As you come back, whenever you're ready, I want you to just gently flutter your eyes open and take a nice deep breath. So breathe in through the nose and exhale out the mouth. On your next inhale, reach your arms up, up, up above your head. As you exhale, opposite shoulders. And then squeeze. Squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your biceps, squeeze down into the arms. It's a good way to feel kind of back in your body, especially whenever we go other places. So maybe it feels good to take a yawn. When people yawn, it's a sign of energy moving, so it's great. Okay. So the last little bit of time that we have, we are going to share. So the question, if you could give yourself the chance to listen to your intuition, what would she say? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because that's pretty much everything. So let me pause it real quick.